Arhato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arhato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arhato Samma Sambuddhassa. Sadhu, sadhu. So this sutta which is there is from Anguttara Nikaya, book of 11, number 13. Nandiya Sutta. So this was with Nandiya. Nandiya is a householder who comes to the Buddha to ask him questions. So there are a few suttas which were given just to householders. And in Anguttara Nikaya itself, there is one more, I think, in the book of 5 or book of 6, where the Nandiya comes, and the initial part is the same. But over here, the Buddha is adding certain additional information for the householders. So this is an interesting sutta because it is giving certain things which are also applicable for the monastics as well as the lay people. So when the lay person comes, so the Buddha is giving some advice which he is giving also to the monastics certain times. So this is an interesting sutta. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling among the Sakyans at Kapilavastu in the banyan tree park. On that occasion, the Blessed One wanted to enter upon the rain's residence in Savatthi. So this is the rain's residence or rain's retreat, which is there for the rainy season. So there are 4 months of rainy season in India. So 3 months can be selected for the rain's residence. So this is also the period where the Buddha was there. Nandiya the Sakyan heard about this, and it then occurred to him, I will also enter upon the rain's residence in Savatthi. There I will engage in business and from time to time get to see the Blessed One. So we have an interesting point over here that the lay person is also saying that I will stay in rain's residence. So first we have to understand how this concept of rain's residence started. Initially, there was no rain's residence given by the Buddha, but there were some criticism of the Buddha done by the lay people, saying that when the monks are walking around, then in the rain's time, the soil is loose, and when somebody steps, it can hurt the living beings below the surface. And that is the reason the Buddha said, okay, if people are concerned about that, then I will give the training rule of having the rain's residence. But the rain's residence also kind of has a important information about how Vinaya rules came about. Vinaya rules were, there were 10 reasons for the Vinaya rules to be implemented. So one of those reasons was that it is ease of the Sangha. And there should be cordial relationship with the lay Sangha and the monastic Sangha. So for the ease of the Sangha, so that is the reason to avoid criticism, this thing was started. But it seems like that lay people also adopted this, or the lay people were also already doing it because of their own belief system. Then the Blessed One entered upon the rain's residence in Savatthi. Nandiya the Sakyan also entered upon the rain's residence in Savatthi, where he engaged in business and from time to time got to see the Blessed One. Now, on that occasion, a number of bhikkhus were making a robe for the Blessed One, thinking that with his robes completed at the end of the 3 months of rain's residence, the Blessed One would set out wandering. So now this also is an important point that when the rain's residence is there of 3 months, after the rain's residence, the month is called a Katina. It is a month where the robe is presented to the monks. So this robe was getting prepared by the Sangha. So normally they used to do a hand stitching of those robes. And this tradition has been brought back in Wat Pah Nanachat and in Thailand. So a lot of monks are making their robes with their hands. So in this same period, the robe has to be completed, and after that they will start their journey going from one place to another. Nandiya the Sakyan heard about this and approached the Blessed One, paid homage to him, sat down to one side and said to him, Bhante, I have heard a number of bhikkhus are making a robe for the Blessed One, thinking that with his robe completed, at the end of the 3 months of the rain's residence, the Blessed One will set out wandering. Bhante, with all our various engagements, what means a various engagement means household things like doing business, taking care of the family, taking care of the friends and all these things. So that is the various engagement. How should we dwell? Good, Nandiya. It is fitting for you, clansmen, to approach the Tathagata and ask, Bhante, with all our various engagements, how should we dwell? So the Buddha is giving now the information for his how a layperson should stay or dwell. Nandiya, a person with faith succeeds, not one without faith. So the faith, a person should have faith. But in practice also, one should have faith. And the faith is the faith of the Buddha. So one way of looking at it is the faith is there of the Buddha and of the awakening. In another way we can see is that you have to have faith on the concept of cause and effect. The cause and effect concept means that when there is an action, there is a result of that action. And that means that things are not happening randomly. Everything which is happening has a cause for it. And without cause, that does not happen. So you should have confidence in that concept. So Hugh likes to use the word confidence. Faith or confidence one should have on, and without confidence, you will not be able to succeed. A virtuous person succeeds, not an immoral one. A virtuous person is the person who keeps the precepts. So for lay people, it is 5 precepts. For Samanera, there would be 10 precepts. For a monk, it would be 227 precepts. So in that way, one second. In that way, what happens is that one who keeps the precepts will be able to succeed. And precepts is also a way of saying that to is important in the way that it also helps a mind to be more clearer. When you are keeping the precepts, then what happens is that you are able to have a more calmer mind. So in Anguttara Nikaya, there is one other sutta which is there, a book of 10, 61, where the Buddha is saying that ignorance has a reason. The ignorance is not without a reason. What is the reason for the ignorance? That is the 5 hindrances. And 5 hindrances also has a reason. What is the reason for the 5 hindrances? That is the 3 kinds of misconduct. That is body, speech, and mind. So when you are doing misconduct from body, speech, and mind means that you are breaking the precept. So virtue to keep the precept is very important to have the mind which is clear. An energetic person succeeds, not one who is lazy. So you have to have energy. If you are putting your energy in your meditation or in your life, on your work and in your activities, then only you will be able to achieve certain things. One with mindfulness established succeeds, not one who is muddle-minded. Mindfulness means that one is able to know what is happening. So the Bhante Vimal Ramsey gives the explanation of mindfulness as remembering to observe how your mind's attention moves from one thing to another. So maybe the main thing is you have to remember to observe. When your observation is there, then you will be able to find certain things. Say, even if you are doing business or even if you are doing some dealing with certain people, when you are observant, when you are mindful of whatever you are doing, then you will not be doing the wrong things or not saying the wrong things or not falling into traps. So being mindful is necessary. One who is collected, succeeds, not one who is uncollected. Samadhi, or the collectedness or concentration which is there, is required. So whenever you are dealing, or whenever you are doing something, your mind is able to stay on the object, whatever you are thinking. Say if you are reading something, if you are able to stay on your whatever you are reading, then you will be able to gain the knowledge of that. In the same way, when you are staying in meditation, whenever you are staying on meditation, you can stay on your object of meditation, then you will be able to gain information on what is happening in your mind. One who is wise succeeds, not one who is unwise. So the wisdom is there for a meditator, and there is also wisdom which is worldly wisdom. So one should also be wise in their activities, and not break precepts, or not do certain things which is harmful for oneself or others. So one should behave with wisdom. Having established yourself in these 6 qualities, you should establish mindfulness internally concerning 5 things. So first you should establish yourself in the 6 qualities, and then you should further recollect or establish your mindfulness in the other 5 things. Here, Nandiya, you should recollect the Tathagata. The Blessed One is an Arahant, perfectly enlightened, accomplished in true knowledge and conduct, fortunate, knower of the world, unsurpassed trainer of persons to be tamed, teacher of devas and humans, the enlightened one, the blessed one. Thus, you should establish mindfulness internally based on the Tathagata. So, you should remember the good qualities of the Tathagata or the Buddha. Again, Nandiya, you should recollect the Dhamma thus. The Dhamma is well expounded by the Blessed One. It is well explained. Whatever information is there has been given very well, directly visible. So you can practice and see. So the simplest way of saying how it is directly visible is, when you know your mind has unwholesome things, you know that there is unwholesome. When there is a wholesome thing in your mind, you know there is wholesome thing. That is the simplest explanation of directly visible. Immediate means you will be able to see this in an immediate manner, inviting one to come and see. So you can ask some other person also to come and see and experience the same result. So it is not dependent on person, but anybody can experience this. And one would be when one has confidence, one has experience, then he will be able to invite the other person also to be personally experienced by the wise. So if you are doing this with wisdom, then or with some kind of application of mind, then you will be able to experience the results. Thus, you should establish mindfulness internally based on the Dhamma. Again, Nandiya, you should recollect good friends. Thus, it is truly my good fortune and gain that I have good friends who take compassion on me, who desire my good, who extort and instruct me. Thus, you should establish mindfulness internally based on good friends. So, good friends is so important that the Buddha is mentioning in the same sutta I mentioned before, Anguttara Nikaya 10.61, that the whole process of awakening starts because we have good friends. Because when we have good friends, then we will be inclined to hear the good Dhamma. When we are inclining to the good Dhamma, our faith increases. If our faith is increasing, then we know where to put attention. So it will be a useful yoniso manisakara. So the attention will be put in a fruitful manner. When the attention is put in a fruitful manner, then what happens is we know how our mindfulness should be there. So understanding and mindfulness increases. When our mindfulness is there, when we know that not to put your attention on the unwholesome things. When you are not putting attention on the unwholesome thing, then we are maintaining from body, speech, and mind. So we are not breaking precepts, which when your attention is purified and we know not to put on the unwholesome. When we are not breaking precepts by body, speech, and mind, then our hindrances are not there. When our hindrances are not there, then the ignorance also is reduced, and then totally eliminated. So having good friends is a very important thing. So Kalyana Mitra is used a word a lot. So when you have a Kalyana Mitra, they can lead you to Nibbana itself. So that is the reason you have to recollect the good friends. Then again, Nandiya, you should recollect your own generosity thus. It is truly my good fortune and gain that in a population of obsessed by the stain of miserliness, I dwell at home with a mind devoid of strain of miserliness, freely generous, open-handed, delighting in relinquishment, devoted to charity, delighting in giving and sharing. Thus, you should establish mindfulness internally based on generosity. So you should remember your own generosity. You should not forget the good things you have done and remember them. That also creates a condition for joy in the mind. That creates a condition for satisfaction in the mind. One other thing Bante used to say is that at the time of death, when one recollects their good deeds, the good generosity they have done, then the person, even if they have not developed meditation, may go to a good destination, because at that time the mind is in a better frame of mind, and then it travels to the consciousness. When it travels according to that state of mind. So recollecting your good deeds is a nice thing. And one other thing about charity or dana is that it is the basic fundamental teaching of the Buddha. Dana, Sila, Bhavana. Dana is the generosity. Shila is the precepts. And Bhavana is the meditation. So that is the basic teaching of the Buddha. So one should recollect their good things which they have done. So now this is also an interesting point, the 11th point which the Buddha is saying. Again, Nandiya, you should recollect the deities or the devas. Thus, those deities that have been reborn in a mind-made body in companionship with the devas who transcend those subsisting on edible food, do not see in themselves anything still to be done or any need to increase what has been done. So, this state of the devas is where there is nothing to be done. So that is also a statement which is given by the bhikkhus or the students of the Buddha. So he kind of underlines this point, just as a permanently liberated bhikkhu, that is the person who has attained Nibbana, does not see in himself anything still to be done or any need to increase what has been done. So it is with those devas that have been reborn in a mind-made body in companionship with the devas who transcend those subsisting on edible food. So one thing we remember that when we are sharing marriage, we mention devas and nagas. And Bante used to mention that the nagas are the beings who are arahants. They can be nagas who are the other beings also. Nagas are mentioned as elephants also. Nagas are mentioned as snakes also. And nagas are shape-shifting beings also. So the multiple ways naga has been mentioned. When we are chanting this, the devas and nagas of mighty power share this merit of ours. May they protect the Buddha's dispensation. So when we are saying to protect the Buddha's dispensation, the nagas which there the Bante mentions over there, or in this chanting, the nagas are mentioned. These nagas are the arahants who have become arahants in the pure abodes. So when one is an anagami, then if he does not progress further, then he is reborn in the pure abodes. When he is reborn in the pure abodes, there is a time when he becomes fully awakened. So that is the reason those devas still say that I don't have to do any work now. But they have still some lifespans which is left in the Brahmaloka. And they can interfere or they can help us in the Buddha's, when the Buddha's dispensation is there. They can help us. That's the reason we invoke them in our sharing of merits. So the Buddha is saying that you have to recollect those deities. And one other sutta, the Buddha is remembering his time as a bodhisattva when he was born as a bird, chick. So the forest, there was a forest fire, and their parents were not strong enough to carry the chick. So they fled. And when they fled, the chick which was there was a bodhisattva. They had a memory that they were a bodhisattva. Then he made a prayer as a chick who was there in the nest. So he made a prayer, and that prayer was to invoke the good qualities of all the Buddhas of the past, all the Arahants of the past, all the Pacheka Buddhas of the past. And with that recollection, he asked the fire to subside, and the fire subsided, and his life was saved in that lifetime. So the Buddha is also mentioning that this recollection has certain amount of benefit in this lifetime itself. You can invoke the previous Buddha's paramis and ask the help for this lifetime, and that is possible. So this is an interesting aspect. The Buddha has not mentioned this many times, but this is in this sutta it has been mentioned. So this is a unique aspect. So I like suttas which has some unique aspect in it, some aspect which is addition to the our understanding. And this is the thing which I liked about this, and the fact that the lay person is having the rains residence. So that is an interesting fact. Thus, you should establish mindfulness internally based on the deities. Nandiya, a noble disciple who possesses these 11 qualities, abandons bad, unwholesome qualities, does not take them up. Just as a pot turned upside down does not receive back the water that has been poured out. So the symbol of a pot turned over is also a symbol of arahanthood, because whatever was the craving or something we have given up, and there is nothing which can be added to that. And that is also the symbolism of the chaityas or the stupas. So the stupa is actually a bowl which is turned over. So initially they were in the shape of the turned over bowl. So that is just a symbolism saying that once that has been given up, nothing can be taken up. So the Buddha is giving this simile: just as a pot turned upside down does not receive back the water that has been poured out, and just as a fire that has gone out of control advances burning up a dry woodland and does not return to what it has burnt, so too a noble disciple who possesses 11 qualities abandons bad, unwholesome qualities and does not take them up. So when you are developing this 11 qualities, then the unwholesome qualities don't have a chance to develop in your mind, and you will only progress. So this is a sutta for a lay person, but the same principles also apply for a person who is doing meditation. And one other important fact is that recollecting of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, which has been mentioned over here. So over here it has been mentioned as good friends, but in the other way we can say the Sangha of the Buddha. So that has been mentioned as the important factor in becoming an Sotapanna. So anyone who keeps the precepts and contemplates Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha can declare themselves the Sotapanna. So the Buddha says you don't have to go to anybody and ask them, but you can declare for yourself that you are a Sotapanna if you are having these qualities. So becoming a Sotapanna, the Buddha mentions in many different ways. One of the suttas, the Buddha mentions that if you are keeping the precepts and are generous, then you can consider yourself a Sotapanna. Then one of the suttas, the Buddha says, if you have faith, you keep the precepts and you have faith, then also you will be not going down. That means you will become a Sotapanna. And if you follow the precepts and accept the teaching upon reflection. Accepting the teaching upon reflection means, as we are giving the sutta reading of the Buddha, you listen to that, you think about that, and then by reflecting on those points, you accept those points. So those points, when you are accepting upon reflection, the Dhamma, the teaching of the Dhamma, you accept as reflection, then also you are considered a Sotapanna. So these are the ways where the Buddha is saying that by keeping the precepts and following certain recollection or a frame of mind, you will progress for sure. And the concept of Sotapanna is given. Then the Sakdagami is there, then Anagami is there, and Arahant is there. But there is a concept the Buddha has given of 2 to 3 times returner also. So there is a Sotapanna who has maximum 7 lifetimes, but there is a 2 to 3 returner where they will be returning only for 2 or 3 lifetimes, and they will become a Arahant. So the Buddha is explaining in many different ways how you can progress when you are practicing. So whenever you are practicing your practice in whichever way, in the way of meditation or in the way of following the precepts and for having the contemplation, being generous, or having faith, or accepting the teaching, then you can have the progress. And over here in this sutta, the Buddha is giving the principles of success in lay life as well as in meditation. So one who has faith, who keep the precepts, he has energy, he has mindfulness, he has collectedness of mind, and he uses wisdom, and he recollects the good things in the Tathagata, good things in the Dhamma. He recollects his good friends, he recollects his own generosity, he recollects the deities, means he recollects the people who have succeeded and achieved their goals. So the Arahant is the one who has achieved the goals, and there is no longer any need for any further progress for them. So this is the end of the sutta. This has a few very good points which can be learned and understood. So we are open for questions. If there is any questions, you can ask. One second, I'll just have a sip of water. Any questions? No questions? Everything was clear? Any other questions also related to meditation or related to any other point of practice also can be asked now. So if there are no questions, then we will share the merits and kind of conclude this meeting. So last chance for anybody to ask questions. Okay, then I think no questions. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu. Thank you everybody for coming. And next would be on Sunday, 3:30. Okay.